Hello and welcome. My name is Lisa Thauvette. I'm with Tilt Think Consulting and Training. I work with Montessori teachers and leaders on professional development and how to build strong teams and strong communities using improvisational play. Thank you so much for joining this presentation. I'll share my screen and we'll start with a PowerPoint presentation. This name of this session is called Improvisational Play for Engagement, Agreement, and Transformation. Just to break that down a little bit, engagement is particularly important, I think, right around this time, as some of our instruction is either entirely or partly online. And I have heard from many teachers how engaging with students in this medium of a digital format is obviously not ideal. I have found, though, there are ways through play, through games and activities where we can have connection, we can have joy, we can have laughs, and we can feel as much as possible that we are together, at least in spirit, through some of this game playing. The agreement and transformation, and when we look at improvisation, agreement is all about acknowledging everyone's valid perspective. As we improvise and we play together, we are respecting everyone's perspective and where they're coming from, and that's how you have successful play, and we're going to dive into that in this session. And transformation is about, as we play and what is happening in our brains as we navigate through improvising together. There's a lot that's happening that we can also translate into our communities, and again, I will dive into that through this session. These sessions are, this session is intended for leaders of schools, so people that are working with teaching teams, and then also for teachers of the elementary age and also the adolescent. I think you're going to find a lot of great concrete tools that you can use with your classes. It's going to be made up of this PowerPoint presentation as well as several videos where I'll be modeling and giving you examples of these games and activities that you can then take to your groups either online, so you'll see it obviously online, so a direct translation as well. All of these originally started in person, so you will be able to do these in person with a few modifications. So, improvisational play, what does this mean? How does this relate? Well, first off, if you are working at a school, you are already an improviser, because none of us know as we approach our school in the morning what is going to be facing us as we walk through those doors. Whether it's a colleague, a student, a parent that is coming to us. We are leaders of our communities, and there are so many things that we are faced with as we go throughout our day. And you know what? You didn't have a script, you didn't plan it, you are making it up as you go. So you're already improvisers. What does this mean, improv? Improv means, if we look at comedic theater improv, this is doing a scene with another person where there's no script and you are making it up and you are inspired by one another to co-create in the moment. I think we also think of improvisational music. Of course, most famously is jazz, is improvised. Those are individual performers of certain instruments that are playing off of one another, finding the flow, finding the rhythm, finding the key, and playing within that, and then creating something wonderful and beautiful. And again, this relates because we throughout life are improvising, and ways that we can do that and ways that we can feel comfortable in the ambiguity is a great way to navigate through life. So, who am I? Like, what brought me here to this point right now today? So just a little bit of my story. Here I am. I think I'm about 3 years old there. I always loved theater. I was always in theater. I wanted to be on the stage and be in front of an audience. So I did theater throughout my schooling. And though as I approached college and had to, going out into the quote unquote real world, I thought I needed a quote real job. So off I went into the corporate world, and I was in human resources. I was a human resource manager. I worked with General Motors for many years. Here I am I'm at a dealership with the service department. I really loved it. I was working with adults and helping them to develop to their potential, but I did realize I wanted to catch people a little bit earlier in their development, and so looked to go into education and found and discovered Montessori. So off I went. I did my training. I'm an AMI certified elementary teacher, and became a teacher. Was in the elementary class, both lower and upper L, teaching and really finding that, yes, this is where you can have more impact on individuals' development, of course, earlier in their lives. During that time, I then become a parent. So I was first a teacher, and then I had my children. And this is a picture of my children when they were much younger. My son, who's standing there, he's now 15, and my daughter, who's being held, she's now 12. During that time as well, I became a head of school. And so I was the head of school for a group from infant to 12 years old. And here I am in my head of school attire. You can see that the theater didn't go far from me. This is me and a teacher from my school. We are doing a parent information evening and showing parents how all topics are interconnected and interrelated. Here we are, Bach and Mozart, to talk about how that topic of music is related to math, to history, to the science, of course, to the visual arts, of course, to the dramatic arts, which we're displaying there. So on the side, after being a mom and being a head of school, that wasn't enough. I was doing improvisation. So as part of a professional improv troupe, which I would practice in the evenings and on the weekends, they were very much separate. Well, as I did more Montessori and more improv, the more I realized how these really complemented each other. These both were about finding agreement, finding connection, and building something together, and having joy and peace and harmony there on that stage as we're having that in our classrooms. So when I repatriated back to the States, I didn't mention that all of my Montessori career took place in Brussels, Belgium. I was with International Montessori there for 15 years. Just 2 years ago, we've repatriated back to the States. Specifically, we're here in northern Michigan. I decided I wanted to dive deeper into this symbiotic relationship of Montessori and improv, and how I could help teachers and leaders in using improv as a tool. So here is I led a teacher in service here in Lansing, Michigan. These teachers are doing an exercise called Dancing Diamond, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm going to give you an example of that. You can also do this online. Here's a crowd doing a dance party online, and I have a video of it as well. Here I will be doing about 7 different videos of 7 different activities that hopefully you'll be able to take with you. This is a group of professional women that were so generous to spend their evening with me and play these games so that you had a nice model. So I would like to thank these wonderful women. So let me share my screen. Share. Here we go. This is our dance party. So now we are going to do a dance party, and this is how it works. I'm going to play some music, and you can move to that music. At some point, I am going to put up one person's name on the screen, and that person will be the leader of the dance, and that means everybody else needs to look at that person and follow what they're doing. And what's important in this is that you have fun. When you're the leader, you have fun, and that people can follow you. You're not trying to trick people at all. You're not trying to be the best dancer. You're trying to give people joy as we move together to music. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
All right, so let's play some music.
C'est du sentiment. Je ne tiens pas debout. Le ciel coule sur mes mains. Je ne tiens pas debout. Le ciel coule sur. Ça ne tient pas debout. Le ciel coule sur mes mains. Ça ne tient pas debout. Sous mes pieds, le ciel revient.
Well done. All right, so you got to hopefully enjoy that. Of course, it's much more interesting to do it, to participate. This really just brings joy, it brings connection, it brings music. Of course, we know that brings our brain to a different place. It's also an opportunity for you to share different types of songs and music from different parts of the world, and to have joy together. So have fun with that. So how is this related to equity? When we think of improvisation, we think of successful improvisation. It really, we really need to respect everyone's unique perspective. When we improvise, people are bringing their ideas. You know, we don't have a script. It's coming all from our head. And so we are associating things, and my associations aren't necessarily the same as somebody else's that I'm with. But it doesn't matter, because whatever that other person says, I am going to support, and I'm going to celebrate, and I'm going to make it look great. Like in that dance, you know, and I'm like, oh, you know, maybe, oh, I don't like to dance like this. Absolutely not. Whatever that person does, I'm going to follow, and I'm going to make that look good and feel good, and now we all feel good together. I don't know if you have heard Sir Ken Robinson speak. He speaks a lot about creativity, and he uses this example that has to do with perspective. He says that when Westerners are asked what they're seeing in this picture, in general, the answer is that they see a tiger. And very generally in Eastern cultures, when asked what is seen in this picture, the people say, oh, that is a jungle with a tiger in it. Both are correct, but it really is a different perspective. One culture seeing something more singularly, and the other culture seeing things more holistically. And again, both correct, both having value, but respecting that there is a difference. Another thing with successful improvisation is it actively requires you to go into the unknown. Like I said, there is no script. So I am going into a scene not knowing what's going to happen, and relaxing into that and knowing it's okay, we will support each other. And that's with inequity, we need to also be okay with, I don't know this person's situation, their background, but that's okay, because I can be comfortable in that gray, in that ambiguity, and that's when I'm going to need to listen most so that I can understand the most. Successful improvisation also requires you to enthusiastically embrace a different person's ideas. As I talked about before, the more enthusiastic I can celebrate somebody else's ideas, of course, that person is feeling valued, and there's so much value to build community in that sense. And as well, my genuine care and interest and wanting to elevate somebody else's perspective brings joy to me. And so it just really, it's a contagious. And this is what happens on stage when we have successful improvisation. Of course, this is also what happens when you have successful interactions and building of community. So I want to bring a couple more exercises that you will be able to do with your students or staff. And I will let these play, and I can talk a little bit about them as they finish. So let me find this first. Please bear with me. My technology, I have things set up and then it moves things around on me. All right, our game right now is Yes, Let's, and this is how we play the game. One of us is going to say an activity, and this activity requires a lot of movement and action. And then after they say the activity, we're all together going to say, yes, let's, and then we're going to do the activity. For example, if I said, let's mow the lawn, we'd all say, yes, let's.
Yes, let's.
And then we would mow the lawn any way we want to mow the lawn. And we do that for a little bit until the next person says a different activity. We all say, yes, let's, and we enthusiastically do the next activity. Are you guys ready? All right, I'll get started. Let's make a pizza.
Yes, let's.
All right. Anybody, anytime can do a new activity.
Let's brush our teeth.
Yes, let's.
Another activity.
Let's pluck our eyebrows.
Yes.
Let's.
Let's change the oil on our car.
Yes, let's. All right, everyone, well done. Thank you. And we'll go on to the next one. This is called Three Things. This game is called Three Things, and this is how it works. Somebody is going to say a category to another person, and that person has to list three things in that category as fast as they can. They don't need to think hard about it. It's just the first three things that enter their mind, and it doesn't even have to be correct. They just have to list three things. For example, if I said, Jill, three things you find in a closet, she could say a shirt, a dress, a banana. And then everybody would say three things.
Three things.
Just three things is all you have to do. And so you have to say the person's name and then three things. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Kathy, three things you find in a purse.
Lipstick, a wallet, and gum.
Three
things.
Mickey, three things you find in your refrigerator.
Leftover meatloaf, baking soda, and a beer.
Three
things. Jill, three things you find on a boat.
a sail, a rat, and a cucumber.
3 things.
Lisa, 3 things that you find under your bed.
Dust, a Kleenex, and a book I'm reading. 3 things.
3 things.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Yeah. So there you go. We have these 2 games. Yes, let's. And also 3 things. I think you could see all that enthusiasm and how everyone felt really supported. Here's looking at you is our next one. I do want to say for 3 things, if you have older students, it's really nice to challenge that. You can move that to 5 things. If they're getting pretty good at those 3, go to 5. You also can go to more abstract type topics. For example, 3 things that are against the law, or 3 things that represent liberty. And that's another way to get the brain more challenged. So have fun with those things. Okay. Here's looking at you as our next game. This requires, has drawing involved, so it requires paper and pencil. So just one moment as I bring that about. Here we go. You need a piece of paper, it can be any size, just something where you can make a small sketch. And of course, a pen or a pencil to draw with. So how this works is each one of us is going to look at another person, and we're going to look at that person, and we are going to draw a picture of that person, but we will never look down at our paper. So we just stare at that person, do the drawing. You can see I'm doing a drawing, but I'm never looking down. All right, and then we'll see what we come up with. So we'll do this alphabetically. Kathy, you look at Jill. Jill, you look at me, and I'll look at Mickey. And Mickey, you look at Kathy.
Okay.
Sound good? All right, ladies, start to draw your person.
Okay. It's hard not to look. I want to look so bad.
Don't do it.
I want to. I want to do it.
Oh, Mickey, you're going to look good.
Oh my gosh, Jill, you're so amazing. Jill is perfectly still. She's helping a lot.
I'm getting your earphones right now, Mickey.
I'm trying to do earrings.
Finish up
This
your
is very
drawing.
Picasso. Okay. I feel like
Finish up your
Picasso.
drawing.
Okay.
Everybody ready?
Yep.
Okay. Can look. Oh, yeah.
It is a Picasso, Mickey. You're right.
Don't show your drawings yet. Kathy, can you show your drawing of Jill, right?
Yes. Are you ready? Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
It is Picasso.
That's really cool.
Nice. Nice.
That's very good.
All right, Jill, you can show your picture of me. It looks like there's some teeth or something going on there.
Yeah.
That's actually your neck and your collar, but yes, it looks like your teeth.
All right, this is the gorgeous Mickey.
Will you please send that to me?
All right,
What?
Mickey of Kathy.
Are you ready, Kathy?
I'm so excited. Yes.
Do you see your bangs?
I do see my bangs and my earring coming out of my eyeball. Which
Okay.
Well done,
That was
everyone.
so fun.
Thank you for that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right, and And let's see what we've got next. So here's looking at you. Obviously brings a lot of joy. It requires us to be concentrated, and also just to accept mistakes. Like, obviously the outcome is not to have beautiful pictures or any of us being artists. That the outcome is to laugh at our mistakes and kind of to accept it and kind of to celebrate that. So then why don't we look at what did you say? This is the next game. This also requires writing. So here we go. With what did you say? Is going to put themselves on mute. And they are I'm going to start this from the beginning. We're going to try again. Here we go. This game is called What Did You Say? And this is how you play it. So one person is going to put themselves on mute, and they are going to say a sentence between 3 and 5 words long. So for example, I love red cherries. I love red cherries. So that's a four words, you can go between 4 or 5 words. And then the rest of us will watch their lips because they're on mute, and we will try to determine what they've said. And they'll say it first time just saying it. And then we can ask the person, the second time you say it, give us some movement. So that person will be like, you can, try to get us, but we'll never have a sound. All right.
Okay.
And then we all write down something, even if it's like, I know she said I love, but I don't know what she said. I don't care. You write I love and then make it up, because that's actually where the fun is. So we will all have a sentence no matter what. All right. Would somebody like to be the person saying the sentence?
I will.
All right, Mickey, you can put yourself on mute and think of a sentence 4 to 5 words. Okay, we're ready to see you speak it. All right, Mickey, can you do it with some action? All right, have people written down? Kathy, can you show us your card and the screen? See what you put. The boy delivered the paper. How was it, Mickey?
That's exactly right.
All right, Jill, what did you have?
Oh, mine's not legible. Rewriting it. Okay.
Boy delivered the paper. What did you have?
The boy was reading the paper.
Okay.
Hey, there we got pretty close. At first, just the lip reading, I couldn't get it. What did you get from just the lip reading?
Nothing.
I think I got paper. I actually think I got paper at the end.
I got the boy, but then it was like Bartholomew. I don't know what she was. So there we had, what did you say? What did you say? So this one obviously is just talking about understanding. We have a handicap. We were not able to understand. In this case, it was the volume. Obviously, we got more understanding when we were able to see more movement, have more expression. We can get closer. This one's nice with students. Obviously, there's some writing involved. There's a bit of a secrecy on what they're saying and trying to figure out what it is. But it does emphasize this idea of when you're not understood. That's strange. I'm not understood. And also how to understand. And of course, that's important as we work with equity within our environments, that of how important it is to, on both sides, to try to be understood, giving as much as you can to be understood, and also to receive information, to be open, and to use everything in order to understand is kind of the underlying message there. Here's one called Remember That Time, and this is a real fun one. I will share this video. Here we go. Okay, this exercise is called Remember That Time. And this is an exercise about visioning and also supporting each other's ideas. And this is how it works. One of us will start out with a common vision. And I think for this exercise, even though we are not teachers at a same school, I think it's going to be a nice example. If we can imagine we're teachers at the same school and we're envisioning a new property or building, whole school property and building. And so, any of the groups watching this, you might have something specific to your team, what you would like to envision in the future. And how this works is one person we're going to act as if this already exists and we are living and breathing in that space. And we're going to share some memories about that. All right, so I will start off with our new building. Yeah, Mickey?
I'm sorry, just a quick question. Should we do just one sentence or should we do a couple of sentences?
You can do, it's not broken down by sentences, it's just a memory. And I'll give an example of a length.
Okay.
Kathy, do you remember that time we saw each other when we first, do you remember that time yesterday morning when we met at the front of our school, and it was so welcoming because there were really big, beautiful windows that we could see into the school. And when we walked in, the sun was just shining in that front space of the school. It was so beautiful. Do you remember that?
I do, Lisa. And I remember, oh gosh, Mickey, don't you remember how we met at lunch that first day in that gorgeous cafeteria that also had the skylight in it? So it was just so beautiful, and the kids were all just so happy and just eating lunch in that beautiful, beautiful sunshine. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. And, I remember, Jill, you probably remember this. After we were served our delicious sandwiches, we got to take them out onto the grassy area outside, and the grass was just the right length, perfectly manicured. It was so beautiful out there, and the peach tree was just starting to show its fruit.
Yes, I do remember that. And Lisa, do you remember also, because being outside and we were eating our lunch, and we were looking across the brand new playground with all that fun new equipment, and the kids were playing on it right then, and it was just so much fun watching them with big smiles on their faces with all their brand new playground equipment, and they were having a riot.
Yeah, I remember that. Wow, we're so lucky to be in this beautiful building, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's great. Thank you. Great. Yes, and that's I saw that pattern, and you guys did great on building. Well done.
Thank you.
That was well done. So that was called Remember That Time. And that really, as I said there, it's about visioning. So, you can do this with staff. So that was an example of staff, but doing it with students, anything that you want to help them to envision, whether it's something that will be new happening, or you guys are going to go on an excursion, or you're going to do an overnight, or you're about to do a show, and you guys can as a community talk about as if this already happened, and I think you could hear all this yes and happening. Yes, it was a beautiful playground, and then people build on top of. Mickey saw the grass and Jill saw the equipment on the playground. So you're building more and more, and you're supporting each other's ideas. And this builds community, this builds a common vision, and it builds cohesion in a group. It's a really nice, fun exercise. So I want to get into a little bit of theory here. The triune brain, some of you may have seen this before. This is looking at the brain as kind of a hierarchical model of the brain, starting with the brain stem, the most primitive part of the brain, sometimes called the reptilian part of the brain. The reason why I like this model, because we do use it when we're talking about students and people in general, where are people operating in which part of the brain, the reptilian, the mammalian, or the neocortex. This also happens when we do improv. So I would like to explain these 3 layers and then talk about how it relates to improv, how it relates to Montessori, and also how it relates to equity. When people are living their lives in the world and being in the world, they are constantly modulating between these 3 levels of the brain. The most core primitive part is the reptilian, or you can see here calling it the survival brain. This is really most primitive in that it's a fight, flight, or freeze responses. We need to survive, so we're constantly assessing, is there danger? And if so, should I fight it? Should I get away from it? Or should I stop myself in my tracks so I can't be seen to survive? Obviously, we do not have life or death situations happening every day, but when we do see another person in crisis, so if for a child that would be tantrum or crying, they generally are operating out of the reptilian part of their brain. And they are in where they cannot have logic or reason. They are having an emotional response to something. The next part of the brain is this mammalian, or the limbic part of the brain. This is where we tend to see emotions. So and where you need empathy. To get through to that limbic part is empathy. So again, this situation of a child who's in a crisis, logic is not where they will be able to be receiving, but you can start to get through by saying to the child, you look really upset, you look really sad, you look like this is not going the way you wanted it to go. Those types of words and phrases helps somebody come out of their reptilian part of the brain and into their emotional or limbic part of the brain. And that is the gateway to the outermost part of the brain, which is the neocortex, the thinking brain, the logic and reason part of the brain. And this is, of course, where we want the students to go to, is use of logic and reason. So once a child has come out of that reptilian, we've been giving them some empathy, they feel understood. Now we can have the conversations about, what could we do to solve this? What could we do next time? Those conversations can happen then, because now they are in their neocortex part of the brain. So that was an example of a child, but we see this with adults as well. I'm sure you can think of times working with parents where they're coming at you from the reptilian part, and that's when you need to listen, have understanding, and provide empathy before you can move on to the problem solving part of that conversation. How does this relate to improvisation? Well, improvisation puts us in a sense, artificially in the reptilian brain, because when we're doing improv, it's such a place of the unknown on what's going to happen. You will see beginner improvisers going into fights in their scenes, being very argumentative. They are having that fight, flight, or freeze response where I'm going to fight this. So you'll see an argument happening. And what I would coach somebody who's improvising, who's gone into a fight in their scene is, I want you to, instead of saying no to that person or to deny that person where you're going in that scene, I want you to look them in the eyes, and I want you to genuinely just really like them. I want you to care about them. And I want you to base the scene off of caring about each other. And I want you to say yes instead of no. That's getting that person into that emotional, empathetic part of their brain, because then they are able to then go into the gateway to the neocortex. They now can use logic and reason to puzzle out how the scene is going to go. So now it's artificial. There's no conflict. There's no real danger, survival mode that needs to be triggered, but it does a little bit because people are scared when they're first starting to do a scene and there's so many unknowns. Obviously with equity, this is very important on all sides, people being out of their comfort zone for so many different reasons. And when people are out of their comfort zone, that's when the reptilian brain can come out. So either somebody is feeling uncomfortable in reptilian, and then you or somebody is going to help them through empathy, understanding, and listening, or you are the person who is really having an emotional, strong response to something. And you need to recognize, I need to get in touch and make connection with another person because that's going to bring me out of it. That was a lot of words. I want to go on to our next exercise. This is getting a little bit more into improv as you would imagine improv to be. And I'm going to find this next game. Just one moment. It's called the Three-Headed Expert. And one moment. Here we go. Three-Headed Expert. It didn't switch it. Let me do it again. Three-Headed Expert. Make sure. Oh, there it is. It was hiding behind. Okay, here we go. Three-Headed Expert. Back it up. All right, this next game is called the Three-Headed Expert, and this is how it works. We have a perfect number, 4 people. 3 of us will be an expert on a topic, and one of us, I think in this case, will be me. I will be the interviewer of this expert. We will get a suggestion on a topic that does not exist at all, so nobody here is really an expert. We'll be making it up, and I'll ask questions to this three-headed expert, and they'll answer the question. And the trick is they're only answering this question 1 word at a time. Each person only gets 1 word. The next person needs to follow and try to make sense of somehow of getting an answer across. And I will support that answer as well. So since we need a topic that none of us really know about, I'm going to take some random words here. If I could please get an object, any object.
A broom.
A broom. And somebody else, could you please give me some type of extreme sport that may or may not exist?
Kite surfing.
Yeah, I was thinking kiteboarding.
Oh, kiteboarding?
Kiteboarding. Or
Yeah.
kiteboarding. Okay. Kiteboarding and a broom. We will have something to do with that in this topic. Are you guys ready? And let's
Can
do
I ask
the
another
order.
question?
Oh yeah, Mickey.
Oh, yep. That was
I think you were just going to answer my question.
That was my
order.
question.
All right. The order. Let's stick alphabetical. We got Kathy will be the first, Jill, and then Mickey. Kathy, Jill, Mickey. Kathy, Jill, and Mickey.
Okay.
All right. Hello and welcome to our talk show. It's all about crazy sports in the world, and we have the world-class brooming boarder that is a new sport. It's cutting edge. I guess it's sweeping across all nations, brooming boarding. And I'll tell you, I've seen some video on this, but I need it explained a little bit. Here we have this wonderful expert. I would like to ask, first of all, how did you get involved with broom boarding?
When
I
Was
little
started
to
broom.
board.
Okay, when you were little. Oh, it's great. You started when you were small, and it's like really in your muscles, probably a lot of muscle memory, and that explains why you're such a world champion of it. Could you talk a little bit about the equipment? Obviously, there's a broom and there's a board, but from the videos I saw, there's a lot of contraptions going on there. Could you tell me a little bit about the equipment?
you
Hold
The
stick
and
grab
a
ball.
and
push
The
board
across
the
ground.
See, this is the tricky part. A lot of people think, if you haven't seen it, this is happening on water. It is on the ground, just to make that clear, and you've got a ball kind of underneath the board at times, sometimes beside the board, that brings you forward. And it's amazing. You do need to see this. Now, I want you to talk about maybe one of the most dangerous moments you had. I've seen the video footage. It's not pretty to see. Could you talk about that moment?
Once
I
Dropped
the
broom
into,
the
creek.
but
I
Then
grabbed
the
ball
and
it
made
a
huge
splash.
Oh my gosh, and that splash, it blinded you in that moment. You had no vision, and that's when you went right into the tree. You don't want to see this. Don't look it up on YouTube. It's not pretty at all. I'd like to thank you, three-headed expert, for coming here and explaining this great sport. Please wear safety equipment if you decide to go into the sport. Thank you so much. Well done, everyone. Yeah, you all worked really well together. Did you feel supported? And
yeah, for sure.
yeah,
it almost made sense.
I know.
Almost.
I could almost picture it.
So there we go. That was the three-headed expert. You could see that was more in improvisation, important of supporting one another. Lots of ambiguity. You don't know what the next word's going to be, and you just need to listen and have faith and say the word, and all of those words were okay, weren't they? They all worked. So that can be a lot of fun. So to move on here, I'm going to show you PowerPoint Improv. This is kind of a longer version game. Elementary and adolescents love to play this, teachers as well. But before I do that, I want to do just a little bit more theory, and then we're going to end on the PowerPoint Improv game. So improvisation is an artful embodiment of Montessori. I'm going to go over the tenets of improv that is widely accepted among improvisers and bump them up against what we're doing in the Montessori classroom. So the improvisational tenets, the big one is play. Now in Montessori, we don't talk a lot about play, but in improv, what that means is it is being in the moment and being fully immersed in that moment so that you can fully support what that moment needs. And if we think about what that would look like in Montessori, that is really concentration and flow. The being completely immersed, losing track of time, and coming out of it refreshed, not tired, but invigorated. And that is the equivalent. Improvisational tenets talk a lot about listening. Of course, you do that in Montessori. But improv, what that means is being open to change. Because if I'm fully listening, I'm not thinking about what I'm going to say next or my idea. I am completely listening to the other person, because that is the only way I will know what to do next, is to be able to hear and understand the other person. Of course, in Montessori, that is seen in all of the collaboration, the building of community that's built into all of our environment and materials and way of approach pedagogically. Improvisation, there's a big thing about supporting your partner. The idea is to make your partner look insanely smart and basically a rock star. So what does that mean in Montessori? This is the building of community. This is the idea that as I go about my day, it is not just about me. I am always in service of the community throughout the day. Improvisation, there's something called playing the game. And what that means is with each one of these activities I showed you, there was a game. So this last one was one word at a time. That was the game. Those were the rules. That was the boundary. That was the limit. And maybe you can see where I'm going to. We had a limit, but within that limit, we had freedom. So they could only say one word, but they could choose any of the hundreds of millions of words there are out there. Of course, they wanted it to make sense, but we as a team would help to make it make sense. Freedoms and limits, playing within the limits that are set up. Let yourself fail. This is just about taking a risk and knowing that that if you take a risk and you land in a different place than you thought, it's still okay. And I think we can think of that in Montessori as the self-correcting materials and the self-correcting environment that's there. That I can go off and explore and take some risks and do something a little bit outside of the box and know that I will still be on track because there's self-correction. And improvisation, the biggest, most famous rule, I think, is this idea of yes and, agreeing with the person you're with and building upon ideas. And in Montessori, the big idea is peaceful societies. And really, this is about finding agreement, finding common ground, and that's our peace. And the and is then building upon that common ground. That's the and. And you can see why I just find these are married so beautifully together. Like I said, I want to end this with one last game called PowerPoint Improvisation. It's really fun, and I hope you do watch it and you're able to use it in your classrooms. So with that, I would like to thank all of you, and please reach out to me on lisa@tiltthink.com. I have a website, TiltThink, if you ever want to contact me either with questions or with more games. I'm always wanting to share. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you do enjoy this final game. Yes, here we go. I'm going to make sure that it's at the beginning. All right. Enjoy, everyone. Oh, it was not at the beginning. Here we go. I'm bringing it all to the beginning. Here we go. Thanks. All right. This next game is called PowerPoint Improv. And how this works is we will have a PowerPoint presentation. We've all seen these, and all of our meetings, and you've got a slideshow and you've got some expert talking about a particular topic. Well, since this is improvisation, we do have the slideshow, but we've got two people who have never seen the slides, and they are going to make it up as if they are the experts. Kathy and Mickey, I think you said that you'd be willing to be our PowerPoint improvisers. So Kathy and Mickey, we have a slideshow about a pretend island, Tedstaff Island. It's a cultural study that you will be presenting all of the knowledge you have about this made-up island. So let's get started. You need to support each other. You need to listen to each other. And most importantly, you need to have a lot of fun, because if you have fun, we're going to have a lot of fun too. All right, I'll share my screen and we'll learn about Tedstaff. There's 5 slides and you just need to say to me, next slide, and I'll move it forward.
Okay.
All right, can you see it all right?
Yes.
All right. Jill, you and I can turn, if you can, turn your video off, and then we just have our 2 experts. Okay, so all the way from Tedstaff Island, I know they just returned. We have 2 experts on this gorgeous, but not very well known island, and we're all really interested to hear all of your studies and findings. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, we're very excited to be here.
I tell you, Kathy, I can still feel the mud on my skin from that waterfall, right beneath the waterfall. I miss that place so much, but I'm happy to be here showing it to these folks.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I don't miss being seasick though. I'll tell you, that boat trip over, whoo! Oh,
Yeah, what most people don't realize is that Tedstaff Island is about 600 miles into the Baltic Sea. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it's about 600 to 700 miles, and you can only get there by boat, as we learned. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can only leave by boat, no matter how badly you want to leave.
Yeah, no matter if you try to like do an SOS or anything like that, there's no planes that go over there. Am I right?
You could be there for days.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the next slide and just get a glimpse of what's going on that island.
All right, just a second. Okay, there we go.
Oh, Jim.
Yeah. Yeah, he was sort of the head honcho, as you call it, of the island, and he was demonstrating for us the ceremonial eating of the tire rim.
Right. Well, what happens is across the Baltic, a lot of hubcaps wash up there on land, and they come from various parts of the world, wash right up on the beach, and the natives and Jim have really found some great recipes for the tire rims and different parts. Kathy, you had one.
I did, and what was really funny, Mickey, was Jim suggested that we grab a peach from that tree and then squeeze the peach juice on that. And I'll tell you, Mickey, I wasn't sure about it, but it tasted delicious.
Oh man, that sounds so good. I think it would hurt my teeth, but you seem to really be able to chomp right through that. I do admire that.
Well, I did have braces for a long time, so I think it really strengthened my teeth. Got used to having metal in my mouth. But.
It paid off.
Yeah. Let's see the next slide.
Okay, yeah. Oh. I do miss this place. Remember that family there living in that house? I mean, each house was designed like a different shoe or boot. There was that family that lived in the flip-flop, and there wasn't a lot of roof cover there, but this boot, now I didn't get a chance to go in there. I know that you went in that one Tuesday night. What was it like inside there?
Honestly, Mickey, it was a little smelly. I'm not gonna lie. It smelled a little bit funky in there. There were the top of the boot there. I mean, there really wasn't any breathing room. So kind of like the smell just really kind of sat in there. It was kind of rank.
And isn't it true that on Ted Staff Island, they'll often house 7 to 8 families in one shoe, and that cannot help with the smell, I imagine.
Yeah, for sure. But with all of the weather that they have and the hurricanes, and they just really need to be able to find any shelter that they can. And like you said, if they have flip-flops, you're going to have to go to the boot.
Right.
They are.
That's right. And
flip-flop.
yeah. Let's see the next slide, and I can't wait to see what this one will be. Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Remember what we need to do. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Oh. The naked platypus is something that is highly, highly regarded there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think part of it is because it stays so still while you shave it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think just that sort of serenity that the platypus shows just really taught us, everybody on that island, honestly, how to just be still and be calm, even if we feel like life is shaving us.
Right. Oh, you are so right. And just surrender to it. Even if you are completely freezing or you feel completely exposed, just surrender. And I do remember, I don't know if you ever were able to make it to the dances around the fire on Friday nights that they would do the plop, 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 platypus, plop, 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 platypus. Oh, I sometimes still sing that, when I'm home in the kitchen.
Well, and I find that it's really helpful when I'm getting stressed out, right? Have you ever tried it when you get stressed out and you're just like, oh, this line, I just go,
platypus.
Oh man, they really have it figured out on that.
Yeah, I feel so thankful that we had a chance to experience that. I think we probably have one slide left, and hopefully we're giving everybody a great idea of this island. And once you do make it there and you decide that it's time to leave, you do want to get back. And that's why this population it goes up and down so much, because people come and go and come back again. And sometimes people can't find their way off the island. I mean, I know that you had the experience when you met that gal. She had been there for some time.
She had, and she, I think she kind of accounts for that tall green spike there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you look, the vertical line is the number of years that end up being there. And so she just really, she was like, I can't find the boat. And, like I said, no planes. So she was just like, she was there forever. And then once we got there, do you remember, Mickey?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, girl, we got you. We can go back to, get on our boat.
Yeah.
And then
plumb back down. Bless her heart. She was terrified on the boat, though. I mean, I swear, I thought that girl was going to jump off.
Well, I think she'd been on the island for so long, she really just forgot what it was like to be off of the land. Honestly.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the population, it ebbs and flows just like the sea. And I love that place. I'm so glad we got to do that together.
I think we have one more.
Oh, okay.
Oh, great. Excellent.
Oh, yep. In conclusion, the phrase that we all came to know and love every time we got together at the end of the week. Let's say it together. Cupcakes are muffins that believed in miracles. And that just sums it up for me too, is, you go to that island as a muffin and you leave as a cupcake. Didn't you feel that with sprinkles?
Oh yeah. We both were muffins when we got to that island, no doubt. And I'll tell you what, Mickey, you are now my cupcake. You are my cupcake because of our trip. And I just want to say that I just love you. And
that means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I feel the same. I think we should plan another trip for next October if you're free.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll just bring some Dramamine.
Oh, good idea. And
well done. Woo! Wow. You guys rock that. You made it look easy. You're like, I want want to go to Ted Staff
I
Island.
totally want to go there.
You too.
Well, thank you, everyone. Here's my contact information in case you'd like to be in touch. I'd love to hear how this works in your classrooms. Thank you so much, and enjoy this wonderful conference by these wonderful folks here. Bye-bye.